Tuesday means it's hockey day, and November 7th means it's Connor Bedard Day on What Chaos. Sup, everybody? DJ Bean, Pete Blackburn. Happy Bedard Day, boy.
Yeah, at long last, it took us 2 whole interviews to get Connor Bedard, the best rookie in the league.
You're going to, and we're going to talk about some other rookies as well. You're going to want to hear it. If you're listening to it right now, you're probably going to be listening to it later because we got not only Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks, but fellow rookie sensation Kevin Korchinski. We interviewed them both together. It was a blast, but there is a ton going on in the hockey world today. You got the Oilers now getting even more on rock bottom watch than we thought. The Leafs are galvanized. The Bruins have a farm system, but Pete, we start with the hockey community being confused because Canadian pop music sensation Tate McRae has revealed the album art for her forthcoming sophomore album, I believe, Think Later, and here it is. In this cover, you could see she is following the SZA model of wearing some hockey paraphernalia on her album cover. She's wearing goalie pads. You can see the letters and words on them say, Think Later. The issue, Peter, as hockey fans are quick to uncover, is the pads are on backwards.
The pads are on backwards, which is a tough look, but honestly, maybe the most brilliant marketing decision I've ever seen. Because engagement farming, especially with hockey Twitter, you know that if you do anything wrong, they'll jump all over you and give you the most promotion that you'll ever get in your life. And they spent all day kind of making fun of Tate McRae for putting the goalie pads on backwards and gave her the first slot on this show.
And that's my issue now with hockey fans. I don't think they did a good enough job. I saw that, and I didn't say the pads are on backwards. I said, where's the rest of the equipment?
Small. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say too small. Like the pads, bring that back up. The pads there, looking not enough coverage.
They should go a little higher. And also in today's hockey climate, you want to be wearing like rafts out there. You want to be J.S. Jaguaring it.
You ever see Andrei Vasilevsky?
Right.
That man, I know that he's on the old IR.
Yeah.
But that man just may as well be Bubble Boy in net.
Load that up. But she also, and we're not picking on Tate, we're celebrating this hockey album cover, not wearing any chest protector, not wearing a glove, doesn't have a mask, doesn't have a stick. If she tried to go on the ice, the whistle will be blown immediately. You know that I like to chat GPT/AI.
Oh boy.
What would it look like?
Yeah.
I generated what it would look like if Tate McRae did this album cover correctly. And there you have, she's wearing a blocker. I was able to affix a glove to her left hand, put a nice mask on her, tweaked the title of the album or the text that was on there, but that's the fix.
That looks pretty good. That looks way more game ready, and that could have been avoided had she consulted the proper goaltending experts before going into that photo shoot. That's
not
true.
So not hockey fans on Twitter who's like, why is this person blah, blah? Like, we were just like, yo, not enough pads.
Yeah, no, not enough pads. But Tate McRae has been really leaning into the hockey market as of late because I know that she had a single called "Greedy" about a month ago that came out. The Gritty, yes. And
she had a song called Gritty?
It was a power ballad directed towards the Philadelphia Flyers mascot.
Nice.
No, she had a song called Greedy, and the music video was filmed entirely inside a what looked like a community hockey rink.
Okay, I know there were shots of. I haven't taken the deep dive yet on the Tate McRae music catalog. We have reached out to her people though, because we would
love to have her as a guest. I mean, if she's leaning fully into the hockey sphere, she should join the number 2 ranked hockey podcast in the world.
I just
misread.
Right now, I misread 2 and said 1.
Okay, well, I mean, if we get Tate McRae, maybe number 1. I don't know much about Tate McRae. I do know that she I think definitely was in a relationship with Cole Sillinger.
Okay.
Blue Jackets prospect. So
I don't care about that. You know, from like the brunch.
I'm just saying.
Right, like
just
I don't
saying
like to
she's in the hockey world and people know her for her music and also because she was the girlfriend, maybe ex-girlfriend, definitely ex-girlfriend of Cole Sillinger.
Okay, well, we don't want to gossip too much here, but is Jay Woodcroft going to get fired? Because we thought yesterday, Pete, that we were seeing the deepest cratering the Oilers could do, and we were even saying like how much. I
didn't think that. Well, it can always get worse.
Like when does it get worse? And we were talking long term. I also did think it would get like a little worse, and we didn't get a chance to talk about the Oilers and betting odds. I'd like to get to that in just a minute, but I didn't think the very next day we would have to get Oilers in the show early because we all had Oilers Canucks circled last night, and the Oilers come out, Ekholm puts them up 1-0. They outshoot the Canucks, I want to say like 17-2 in the first 10. It was 19-2. Yeah. Allow 3 straight goals. Wheels completely fall off. Connor McDavid decides to rebrand as a bad bitch. Jay Woodcroft gets tossed out of the game. And something, Pete, about the 6th goal they allowed with like 55 seconds left.
That was tough.
That really felt like the end of something.
It didn't feel like the end of anything. It felt like the beginning of the Oilers' downfall. The wheels are coming off. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the goaltending is obviously the biggest issue here, and you can look at that in one of 2 ways, because I don't know anything about goaltending. I've said that forever. I evaluate goaltending based off of how much I like the goaltender.
Smart.
And yeah, right. Like on a personal level, the goaltending is bad. It's the 32nd ranked team in terms of save percentage in the league. You can't win no matter who you have. You can't win if you have the worst ranked goaltending in the league. But without being able to evaluate goaltending, my thought is, well, it can only get better. And if they even get league average goaltending, and I think that Stuart Skinner is better than what he's shown to this point. He was bad last night.
Skinner was really, really bad last night.
It could only get better, but like they do need a fix because you can't put yourself into this deep a hole and you just can't win without goaltending.
I was having a boys' night with Sean watching the game, and he allowed a goal that he just kind of beat cleanly, and I was like, goalies usually make the first save these days. I just like I need, as an Oilers fan, need a save there. And shortly after, he makes the first save, kicks out a huge rebound, and they score on the rebound. And I don't want to say he's not it, but like they're in a position right now where every small thing turns into a big thing that you need your goaltender to, if not bail you out, at least not exacerbate the problem. And right now their goaltending is exacerbating the problem.
I do think that there's a road back. But like you mentioned, this team is it's like a snowball effect where everything that goes wrong seems like it's the end of the world. When you look at the numbers, so if we want to get nerdy about it, the analytics have the Oilers with the 2nd best expected goals rate in the NHL, 23rd in reality. So, like, if that comes back and meets somewhere in the middle and the goaltending improves, they're going to start to win games. But it's just a question of how long this skid goes on, how long everything feels like it's going to be the end of the world. And is the hole too deep that you dig to start the season?
I don't think right now the hole could be too deep, but it does turn what was a jokey thing we were talking about later this week on Thursday. The Oilers will play the Sharks in what could be, depending on what the Sharks do tonight, an opportunity for San Jose to get their first win of the season. I want to ask you this. Do you know how many teams currently separate the Oilers and Sharks in the standings?
1.
League-wide?
1.
0. The Sharks are 32nd in points.
That's what I meant.
And
I know the Oilers are
31st. So as jokey as like, oh, what if they beat the Oilers? Sharks are the worst team in the league. Oilers are the second worst team in the league. And
that's crazy.
We saw Jay Woodcroft get tossed out of the game with about 10 minutes left last night for giving the officials lip. If they lose that game on Thursday, he gets fired.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That, and I need the Sharks to lose tonight. They play the Philadelphia Flyers. I need them to lose tonight. I'm going to be watching that game like it's my goddamn Super Bowl. I will be watching, if that happens, if they lose, I will be watching Thursday night's game, Oilers Sharks, like it's my second Super Bowl. Every Oilers game to this point, even last night's game against the Canucks was my Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I'm like living for the Oilers to be a disaster right now. And I want them to come out of it eventually. I think the league is in a better spot when Connor McDavid and the Oilers are relevant. But I am really enjoying what's happening right now.
The Oilers were based on our preseason predictions that we showed last week that were clearly done before the season. But at an earlier point in that offseason, I thought that the Oilers would get out of the Western Conference and make a run to the Stanley Cup final. Are they too lost right now? Because even when I thought they would go to the Stanley Cup final, I didn't place a wager, and I'm a betting man. Mm-hmm. I didn't place a future on them. I cautioned friends and betting friends to not place a future on them and to wait, because I thought they would kind of dick around for a little bit.
Yeah,
the odds would improve. Right. They would do some Oilers shit. The odds would improve, and basically you just try to pounce at the right time. I checked the odds like 5 days ago. They're probably better now, but they had gone from preseason plus 1,500 to, as of a few days ago, plus 1,800. I imagine it's going to keep going in the direction of you're going to get better and better odds. Should you be viewing the Oilers as a potential 2019 St. Louis Blues team where they're going to crater, maybe fire the coach, but at the end of the day, the bones of the house are so good they could still do some damage?
No.
Really?
No. I don't think that the bones are like,
I've abandoned my boy.
I mean, they obviously have the pillars. I don't think that they have the fully constructed bones of the house. Like the back end is such a problem. Defensive structure, goaltending, you can't win in this league without it. And we're starting to see like the rest of the house start to crumble now. So no, but I will tell you a bet that I did place yesterday. Connor McDavid to win the Hart plus 250. Anytime you can get Connor McDavid to win the Hart at plus money is a good bet. Plus 250, like he is still delivering. And again, I think the Oilers will come out of this at some point. I think that they're going to make the playoffs. And, you know, if they suck the rest of the way and they still make the playoffs, Connor McDavid is going to win the Hart because he'll be the reason. He'll be dragging their lifeless corpse, him and Draisaitl, to the playoffs. And he'll probably have like 120 points still. And he'll win the Hart because he's the most important player to that team.
Oilers fans, please let me know if there is like a 33-year-old goaltender, like a rando dude in the Oilers system who could be, and I know that Binnington was young, but like who could be like the Aiden Hill type that just kind of comes out of nowhere, but is kind of there. And they're like, hey, why the fuck not? And he ends up being the guy. If the Oilers grow a rando goaltender, then fuck yeah.
That's what I mean. I can't evaluate goaltending. It is like magic beans in this league. You can just pick a guy off the street, and for 2 months, he'll give you a .940 save percentage. It happens seemingly all the time. So you can't rule it out. Last final thought on Oilers Canucks from last night. One of the best jersey matchups that I can remember.
Oh, that was great.
Canucks wore the skate. Just such a good look. And I don't love. I hate like the take that like the Canucks should wear the skate all the time. But as a third jersey, it looks so good. And especially, I don't know, there was something about the matchup last night against the Oilers in their away regulars that just it works so well for me. And I feel like the Canucks have a different sort of presence to them when they wear the skate.
The thing about the skate jerseys I noticed last night was like the under of the like upper arms. Did you see that? They kept going like this.
Yeah, because they kept
like
scoring.
A bunch of times. They scored 1 million goals, so I was able to see that fucking part of the jersey, which is just like stripe area. It's just like the rest of the jersey. Oilers a mess. Meanwhile, the Leafs are officially, I say, galvanized because they opened the scoring last night against the Lightning, give up 4 straight, and I'm just kind of laughing my head off at that. Then they storm back, score 4 straight, are up 4 on the way to a character win, and of course, blow the lead, have to go to overtime, give up a goal in the final minutes of the game. And what a loss that would have been. They were about to get a character win. They blow it. It's so Leafs, but they come out in overtime, fucking dominate. Their first rush was so good that I said to Sean, I was like, they're toast. Because like 3-on-3 is like just so back and forth. I'm like, you get a chance that good and don't score, the puck's going the other way. So you better hold your breath. But no, they dominate. They score, I want to say 40 seconds in to OT. And not only, it's a galvanizing win because not only did they get a win that was going to be a character win, they got a character win and overcame a really fucking bad potential loss. Leafs, congratulations. You are galvanized.
No.
Yeah, they are. They're galvanized.
Congratulations on your 6-5 overtime win over Jonas Johansson and the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have stunk to start the season.
Also,
congratulations, and you almost chunked it at the end.
Right. Well, they did chunk it at the end.
So you lose.
They overcame the Leafs. You know how hard that is?
You lose the character morale building victory when you had it locked up and then you almost chunked it at the end and you barely scraped by. I don't think you feel super great about that if you're a Maple Leafs fan.
Oh my God. It's like having to use 33 pitchers in a game. And I know that baseball rosters don't work that way. This is a baseball podcast famously, but it's like having to go through every player, have position players pitch, and you find a way to eke out the win. They did make a goalie change in that game. They pulled Samsonov, who was not very happy as he was leaving the ice.
Yeah.
But
second mass he's destroyed already this season.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I'll be honest. I didn't see the beginning of the game. Flipped to it as he was fucking up his mask. But he'd already fucked up the game.
The Leafs are not galvanized until they kick the shit out of a good team. That's the only way that you can have some confidence in this team because they have not put together a full 60-minute effort. They haven't shown that they can kind of keep it together for an entire game.
Fucking Leafs. Why would they put together a 60-minute effort?
I don't want them to. Like the Leafs might be my second favorite team in the league this season just based off of the absolute chaos that they're inciting both league-wide and within their own fan base. So I'm not rooting for it, but the only way that you can start to feel good about this Leafs team is if they kick the absolute shit out of a good team, and they haven't done it.
Well, you can become ungalvanized, obviously. I wouldn't be just carelessly saying the Leafs are galvanized if I didn't think you can become ungalvanized. At some point, probably soon, they will ungalvanize. For now, Leafs, Steve Dangle, congratulations, drink it up. You, my friends, are galvanized. Today is Connor Bedard Day. We have him and Kevin Korchinski on the show. And we've taped a few interviews and we've had a lot of players on so far, and they've been a lot of fun. This was an interesting one because these are the youngest people we've had on it. And Connor Bedard obviously has had tons of attention on him. What he says into a microphone is important because the stakes are too fucking high. So this is somebody who coming in, obviously accused of not having much of a personality or not showing much of a personality. It was the gauntlet was laid down to us, and we were fucking ready to respond.
I think it was our first challenge because, like you said, we've had a bunch of players. You've only seen one, but we have a bunch of players coming up, all of whom we either knew and had previous relationships with, or we knew were like very personable. And so we knew that they would be good guests. This was the first one that was like, all right, let's see what we can bring out of these guys as young people. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't know how much I want to reveal before we actually show the interview, but like, I don't throw Bedard into the class of like a McDavid, Sidney Crosby, where you're like, give me something like personality wise. It's there. I think that he's already shown it in several moments. I mean, even in training camp when he made the joke about like, he's learning to cook, and then somebody asked a follow-up question on what are you learning to cook, and he was like, I just said that I was lying. I'm not actually cooking anything. Like I think that Connor Bedard has a personality. I think that he's a really good kid. I think that he's funny, and you will start to see that personality come out, and he will be a very marketable player as his career goes on and as he gets more comfortable. I mean, you look at even Connor McDavid and Crosby. Both of those guys have personalities.
Yeah.
And Crosby, I think, has an underrated personality in the NHL.
Big Crosby
He's a guy that I think is very funny, is one of the boys. McDavid is getting a lot more comfortable in his own skin in terms of getting behind microphones and kind of
trying to kill
saying
people
stuff.
on the ice now.
Yeah, right. He's gooning it up and giving us entertaining interviews. So, like, Bedard is not in that category for me.
This interview is not edited down. We could have edited it down and just only kind of had like highlights or whatever, but I think this whole thing is so good because there's a fucking arc to it where he does get comfortable, fucks around with us. Kevin Korchinski, I gotta say, is like my favorite fucking kid in the world.
He's a dude's rock guy.
He's awesome. Also awesome. I grabbed the lemon lime Ollie Pop today, and Pete just fucking copied me.
That's the opposite of what happened.
No, I was planning on doing a lemon lime, and then you took a lemon lime.
Oh, cool on planning on it.
But it's delicious.
Congratulations.
It's delicious. And as you know, it's a prebiotic soda, 5 grams or fewer. Sean running over. Are you grabbing your own? Sean is grabbing the grape right now. And
that is delicious, actually.
Look, I don't need to, I don't think, even reference any notes on this anymore because we are such Ollie Pop people through and through. We know that most Americans, 2 out of 3, have some sort of digestive issues. This stuff got the fiber to make you feel good. You had 2 Ollie Pops yesterday. Not to ask about your personal insides life, but were you moving?
Asked in the All-City Slack, they were like, you're about to have some great movements tonight.
Were you moving?
I was moving. I was moving and grooving.
A body moving. Not bad. So use chaos on the... I do have to go to the website. It is drinkolliepop.com. Use the code chaos for 25%. 20% off your next Ollie Pop order on drinkolliepop.com. You can also find it in over 22,000 stores across the country, including Walmart, Target, and Whole Foods. It's Ollie Pop. You can get lemon lime, cream soda,
lemon lime
grape,
one tastes
similar
to the limonada. The limonada drink. It's a little less like sour and bittery, and it goes down a little bit easier than that stuff.
Just not as sugary, but it's still it's just so tasty.
Big fan.
Here is Connor Bedard and Kevin Korchinski. Connor, what's the coolest thing a mic'd up ref has ever said to you before an opening face-off?
Yeah, I mean, we got one, so I guess welcome to the league, I think. I don't remember too well, but yeah, that's it.
What's going through your mind is that's happening because you're standing across from Sidney Crosby. You are about to do like one of the top 5 toughest jobs in hockey, which is beat Sidney Crosby at something, and so much of the focus is on you, and you're in this kind of, not in a bad way, like you're in like a PR moment 1 second before all this begins.
I mean, I didn't think of it at all, the PR. I mean, I was playing hockey, and of course it was cool with Crosby facing off against him, kind of childhood idol, so he sucked the drawback on me, but yeah, I tried my best, and yeah, I wasn't thinking about kind of anything else.
Kevin, as a young guy, you want to get kind of caught up to the league and fit in with the veterans. Do you feel pressure to just like have a bunch of kids and get worse at skating so you can be one of the guys?
No, definitely haven't thought about that one, but yeah, it's like kind of fitting. It's been good. We have such a good like veteran core, young guys kind of mixing. So, you feel comfortable here. You feel like you can just go play hockey and have fun. So it's good.
You look at the media attention that he gets, and you're like, better him than me. Thank God it's not.
He can deal with it, not me. So he's probably better at answering questions anyways. So.
I mean, for you, obviously the media attention has been insane. Was there any way that you could have been prepared for how much it was heading into the season?
No, but I mean, most of it is you're not really doing anything. I mean, there's interviews, and I've been answering questions for years now, so that doesn't bother me too much. But a couple extra events for sure. But I think I'm more grateful for. It's kind of the first time in everything and all this, so. I'm having fun with it, but it's definitely a lot of stuff, and I think now it'll die down a bit for sure.
With the older guys and, Foligno particularly, has there been a moment where you've been like, thank God this guy is here to kind of help shepherd me in?
Yeah, we have a lot of really good guys. Obviously, Pears and Foligno are two that, people kind of looked at as obviously the guys been around the league and have experienced everything. I mean, Perry's won everything there is to win, and so that's pretty cool just to hear from them and just watch them on an everyday basis, kind of how they go about their business. And for me and Kevin, all us young guys, it's big to have guys like that.
Everybody has welcome to the NHL moments. Mazel tov, by the way, on scoring your first goal against the reigning Vezina winner. Not bad. Everyone has these welcome to the NHL moments. But just as a person in a new profession, did either of you guys have a welcome to the holy smokes, everything here is different kind of moment? I don't know how this works. I don't know what that thing they're talking about is.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I think it's definitely a lot more professional. I feel like just how everything's handled. Like, back in junior, like we're busting all of our games here. You charter, so just stuff like that. Like, I don't know. And then welcome to NHL. Like, obviously, like just in warm-ups when you look across at these grown men. You're looking over at like Crosby, Pasternak, all these guys that you grew up watching. So that's kind of like, it's just pretty cool to line up against those guys and really just go against them and just kind of see how you fare. So, but yeah, definitely it's a different, better lifestyle than we got in junior. So
maybe the thing for me was when we came for development camp and you got introduced to like 50 people and they're all working for the team, which I thought was pretty cool. Like everyone has their specific job with the team and they're like, a master of that one specific thing. So, whatever you need, there's always a person for it. And I think that's something that kind of struck to me right when I got here.
It sounds like the scene in the movie Annie. Annie, little orphan Annie?
No. Oh, yeah.
She gets to Daddy Warbucks' house. You know what I'm talking about. He's got a fucking butler for everything and all these things. And she's like, this is not the world I know.
I know that.
I don't know.
I can't believe that you're the one, because we were talking to the other guys.
Yeah.
We were talking to the other guys, and they were like, he doesn't watch anything. He doesn't know anything.
I was just like getting called a robot by everyone else. It's crazy.
Say something inflammatory right now, controversial, and then people won't think you're a robot. I'm just kidding. What's the worst thing you could say? No. How did it feel scoring your first goal on a wraparound? Because especially young forwards, you could make like a map of where people don't think you're going to go. You're not going to go to the house. You're not going to go anywhere near the net. You're not going to go in the corners. And you, I mean, since you've been in the league, really do kind of seem fearless with that. How did it feel scoring your first goal that way?
Yeah, I didn't think about really how I scored it. It was a bit of a weird play. I just kind of threw it on net and it popped there, and the Allmark didn't really know where it was, so it was kind of lucky. But maybe not the one I expect. I don't know if I had a wraparound goal all of last year, so definitely not something you expect. But yeah, with what you said about going to the net and stuff, I think guys are bigger and stronger, obviously, but that's where goals are scored. So just try to figure out how to get there. But yeah, I didn't think about how it was scored, but it was definitely not what I was expecting, I don't think.
What's your favorite song from Annie?
I have no clue. I know the one, like the famous one that they sing, the Hard Knock Life or whatever.
Hard Knock Life?
Yeah,
you might know Tomorrow.
No. Yeah, I know that one too, actually. But probably Hard Knock Life is more popular.
Boys, I'm not telling you how to live your lives. Pop on the soundtrack. Next time, maybe you're on a long road trip. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Miss Hannigan, she hates the kids, but she's got a lot of songs about how a lot of her songs are about how she's going to kill the kids. So don't listen to all the songs. It's a great show, though.
If you, I mean, you guys don't pick your goal songs, right?
No.
Yeah. I know the Sabres do it, and Jeff Skinner picked High School Musical. So if you guys had to pick your own goal song, what would you pick?
I got no clue, honestly.
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably just some like upbeat, like I don't know, like rap song maybe. Just something that's like I don't know, pretty like hype and like get the fans going, or maybe like a throwback, something like that. But
what's a throwback to you?
I was gonna say getting jiggy with it. Is that like
I don't even want to know the answer, but like what is a throwback to you guys?
I don't even know like on the top of my head. Oh,
you
got this.
Yeah. What's a throwback NHL jersey to you?
I mean, Mighty Ducks, I guess.
Yeah, probably Ducks. First one to think of.
That's still a throwback to me. So
Harry wore it though.
Oh yeah,
he was on the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Wow. You should ask him. Just be like, hey, like, what was Gordon Bombay like as a coach? Was he? Do you guys get that reference? Did you watch the movies?
Yeah, I've only seen the one.
Awesome. So I want to pull back for a second at the like people make you out to be a robot thing. Do you mind that, or do you like embrace like I am hockey and I am better at hockey than any of these other guys? So if I just need to be the hockey guy, fine, I'll be that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care too much what kind of people I don't know think or whatever, but I think it's pretty funny how it works. You know, you do an interview where you get asked whatever the same question for the 100th time, and it's like, oh, this guy sucks, you know. But you know, you don't know these people, and but everyone has an opinion, and that's how it's always be. I think I was the same as a kid. You know, when you see a player, for whatever reason, you might not like them or anything. It's just how the world works. But yeah, I mean, these people don't really know who I am, you know, off the ice, of course. But yeah, whatever I'm perceived as is fine.
Give us feedback. Which of the questions we've asked have been asked in a million other interviews? Because I know that they're hitting the Annie stuff. And
no.
Trying to get to
Yeah.
I don't
even think any. Yeah, like I feel like most of
that.
That's impressive.
Do you like? Do you like that sort? I mean, Foligno said that you are one of the guys, and you love being in the room and shooting the shit with them and everything. Obviously, you're both at the beginning of very important jobs, so you're going to take it serious, and that's great that you're professional. But do you feel that you're acclimated to like, okay, this is where we are now, and I can bust chops and I can have my chops busted?
Yeah. I think both of us feel really comfortable in the room, and that's something I think you're maybe more nervous about even than the hockey at first. Is like, I want to fit in, and you don't know these guys are, you know, they got families and they're older and stuff. But right away, I think all our guys made us feel so comfortable, and going to the room, I feel, you know, super at home, and you know, it's always a safe place, and you know, where you have some of the most fun is in the room or on the plane, on the bus. So that makes it way more enjoyable.
Was there a moment or a particular thing where you were like, damn, these guys are old? Like, they're much older.
Maybe the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, well, I think just playing with, like, being teammates with guys with families and kids, like, it's just such a different, like, thought. Like, back in, like, junior, playing with guys that are just, like, 16-year-olds old, call-ups are 50, and then you go and you're playing with guys that are in their 30s, late 20s, so it's just, like, it's just so different, I feel. But, like, at the same time, like, all the guys kind of focus on the same thing, just playing hockey and just gelling as a team and having fun. So it's a pretty good dynamic. It's cool.
And it's funny. What is it? Is it the 19 in junior? There's some guys that are there. That
20.
They're
allowed 320s.
Okay, yeah. And the thing that was always said with that is like, there's some men in this league because they're guys who stay. And you're like, okay, so all right, this is what a man is. And then you get here and
Foligno has male baldness.
That seems like something else from what was called. Those men had hair and shit like that.
When you're like called up as a 15 for WHL, it's like, geez, like there's 20-year-olds, like they're huge, like they got these beards, like, and then you get here and it's like they're actually men, like they got kids, like they're playing for their families. It's crazy. Yeah. So
have you chirped them for being old yet? Anybody?
They chirp themselves a lot for it. I try not to, especially. Kind of the first month here.
At what point during the season do you make a bald joke towards Nick Foligno?
Yeah, he says them so much that you don't even want to. I think that's his tactic.
The thing though is kids these days, and I've noticed this before, like if I'm like shooting hoops and I see some kids like playing basketball, they're all being so nice to each other. And I truly do think that each generation is becoming a little more empathetic and a little nicer to each other. So generally, are you the types that would be busting balls anyway? Or is it like going out of character to be like kind of a dick?
No, I mean like banter and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I think
wouldn't
like
try to hurt someone's
yeah,
feelings.
I'm not trying to hurt their
anything.
feelings, but I feel like just like if you're kind of chirping a guy, it just kind of makes him almost feel more welcome that you're just one of the guys. Like you're not thinking too much of it. Like I feel like if you're just like kind of not talking to the kid, it's kind of weird. But if you're just like chirping him and stuff like that, it's kind of almost like you're including him.
What about your experience on the ice so far from other guys on the other side? How much attention is paid to you guys? I mean, specifically you, obviously, a lot of attention outside from the media, but like on the ice, you getting a lot of attention from guys on the other side?
I mean, it's still just like hockey, and it's another level. And I mean, people are competitive, and obviously there's no friends once you're playing. But I've had a few kind of congrats on the draft or first few games, which is great. Makes you feel good. But in the end, you're competing against them, and once you get on the ice, you're just playing hockey, going off instinct. So nothing too crazy, really.
When a player joins a team and they're known to wear a number, oftentimes there'll be some sort of conversation between he and the person wearing that number, and you figure something out, and then that person gets the number. Connor, was there any discussion when you joined the league with McDavid or Hellebuck of like, can you guys go by something else? I really like going by Connor, and I'd like that to be my thing.
No, that'd be great though. Kind of have your own
Step
tag.
aside.
Yeah, trademark your name. But no, I actually got to train with McDavid a bit this summer though, which was pretty sweet.
He sucks,
so,
right?
Yeah. But no conversations like that.
He's, I mean, to have yourself described in similar breaths as Connor McDavid, what's that like? Because obviously, like, whether or not you'd like to admit it, you're considered a generational talent, and it looks that way so far. But you've also been a hockey fan, and you've seen the otherworldly things that some of these guys do. What's it like hearing stuff like that said about yourself?
I think it's cool at first, for sure. When I think when I was younger, I got the exceptional status thing, and it's kind of just the other guys that have got, and it's like, I'm in the same sentence in this way as that guy, which is pretty sweet. But once you hear it a bit, and he's unreal, like you all know. But for me, I'm just trying to be myself, and I think everyone loves to do comparisons or who you play like, but no two players or person are the same. So just kind of be me and let the outside noise be what it is.
Sure, you guys have been asked like a million times about the players that you idolize as kids. What about the players that you despised as kids, or you were like particularly did not like? Because everybody has those guys. You're like, oh, that guy's a rat. Like any of those guys.
Charlie
that come to
McAvoy,
mind?
famously, when he was drafted, remember when Charlie McAvoy was drafted, there was an old tweet of his from like 2 years earlier because he was a Rangers fan that was like, fucking hate the Bruins, man.
I saw that with Morgan Frost too.
Oh, really?
With Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like a tweet when he was 13, 14, whatever. It's pretty funny.
So mean.
God,
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of players, is there anybody that you jumps out as like, man, I really couldn't stand that guy as like a fan when I was younger?
I think it's Matt Cook. I was a Carlson fan.
Okay.
So when he took his, like, I think it was his Achilles, like, I was pretty pissed off. But, like, obviously, like, it was just a freak accident. But as a kid, you don't really get that. So, but yeah, not really any, like, teams or players, I feel. I feel like you're just, like, you're cheering on your favorite team and whoever they're playing against, like, that's the opponent, I guess. So
Well, I mean,
that was also Matt Cook's like 15th one of those.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Growing up a
he had
Bruins fan when he not the biggest fan of what he did to Savard. So like, he's one of those guys that like there are those guys that have the reputations, or just like even a teammate of yours now, Corey Perry, was not the biggest fan of opposing fan bases. So anybody like that for you?
No, I don't think any players. I was a Canucks fan growing up, so like, maybe they're some of the teams they were playing, but nothing sticks out too much.
So the
So you were
Bruins, you can say.
5, right? You were 5 when they were in the Cup final,
Yeah,
right? So
Yeah.
like,
About almost 6.
is there much of a? I was actually calculating that the other day. I was like, so he's born this month. June 15th was when. Was there much of a memory of that? And what's cool, at least, is that rivalry lingered for like another few years. Marchand kept doing shit to them. So, like, did you have an understanding of that? Do you remember that?
I remember the finals. I remember that run pretty well, actually. Like, they beat Chicago with the Burrows OT goal, which was pretty cool. And then I was at Game 5, against San Jose when BX got that off the stanchion.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the crowd for that. And then the Bruins won, I remember just crying for like a week or whatever. Little kid, big Canucks fan.
Best time of my life.
Yeah, it sucked.
Can you imagine what it would be like in either of you playing on a stage like that?
Yeah, I think for me this summer, we did the prospects thing and we went to Vegas for that final. And there's like, because you're a little closer to getting drafted and, trying to play in the league and everything. And I was like, it's just so much added motivation being there and watching. And that's what we work towards every day. And that's the end goal. And I can't even imagine getting to, lift it over my head.
How much do you appreciate the foundation that was laid by Kane and Taves here? Obviously not even just the banners, but, the transition from their era to now you guys' era, just like what they've built here. How much do you appreciate it, or does it add extra pressure for you guys as well?
Well, I think they're just legends. Like, obviously what they did for Chicago, like having the 3 cups, like, it's kind of crazy what they're able to do in such a short time. So, like, just the legacy they built here, and obviously, there probably is a bit more pressure wearing the logo just because it means so much and it's been so good. But I think at the same time, it's kind of cool that you get to be part of such like a historic team and team that's been so good for so many years. So, I think I take it as a privilege. So it's cool.
I think for us growing up, we were kind of right in that era of. Then maybe not the first one for me, but the second and third especially, I remember really well. And you just see how much the fans in the city gets behind them. And of course, there were so many guys on those teams, but Kane and Taves being maybe the most notable, I guess. But you could go down the list. Just kind of getting the chance to hopefully build something like that and be in an original 6 and here with these fans, it's special. And for us, I don't see it as pressure. It's just kind of, like a privilege, like Kev said.
Kevin, you're a musician?
Yeah, you could say so.
Guitar. So where do you better player, guitar or piano?
Piano. I grew up playing piano. My mom wanted me to play piano, so started with my sister. She didn't like it so much, so I had to do it. Rolled with that, and then grade 9 I quit just to focus on like hockey in school, and then. Just last winter at the World Juniors, a lot of guys playing guitar, and I thought it was the coolest thing. So I got one, tried it, and I loved it. So been playing kind of ever since.
Does the team know, look, if they want to make you a healthy scratch, fine. I'm just going to get on the organ and rip some dope shit up there and don't steal the show either way.
I don't think I have the talent for that one. But it's I don't know. I like it's fun to play guitar just in your free time. Like you have so much, I feel like, free time where you can just kind of learn a new thing rather than just kind of sitting in the bed.
What kind of stuff can you play?
I like a lot of country stuff. I'm from Saskatoon, so country's pretty big there. So just kind of learning like Morgan Wallen or Zach Brown, or just kind of like throwback like Coldplay. My dad was a big Coldplay guy, so it kind of rubbed off on me, and I like their songs too.
Country music, 4 chords is going to unlock it all.
Yeah,
so as long as
it's
you know
super easy.
G, C, A minor,
D,
you're
set for like basically like all the songs.
Any hidden talents on your end?
I just play hockey, guys.
Fair enough.
That's all I do.
Love it.
What a perfect ending. I just play hockey.
Oh,
all I
God. Great, like clearly great kids. And we asked them, like, you guys aren't dicks, right? And like they aren't, which is fucking crazy. Because a million years ago, hotshot kids coming up, they'd think they're doesn't what, but they just play hockey and they're just nice fucking children.
No, they rock. And this is one of the best years for rookies in the NHL that I can remember in quite a while. The list of guys that are fun to watch in their first year this year is very extensive. You got Bedard, you got Korchinski, Logan Cooley, Pavel Mintyukov, Leo Carlson, Adam Fantilli, Luke Hughes, Matthew Poitras, Marco Rossi, Brock Faber, Matthew Nyes, Devin Levi, Lucas Dostal in Anaheim in net has been like, there's so many guys that have come out of nowhere, and that's like not even mentioning Zach Benson, who had an incredible camp and was very fun to watch, and haven't seen him do much for the Sabres to this point. But like this got to be one of the most electric rookie years in recent memory.
I completely agree, because as you were like 5 to 10 names deep in that list, I was like, has he even said Matthew Nyes yet? Or has he even said Luke Hughes yet? And it's insane. By the way, if you want more from the Blackhawks and you're listening in podcast form, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page. It takes nothing, doesn't cost you anything. It just puts our stuff front and center for you when you want it, when it comes out. On the YouTube page this week, we will also have our sit down with Alex Vlasic and Wyatt Kaiser, a couple of also great kids and good young players for the Blackhawks. They're obviously in good hands going forward. While we're talking about young players, I think we need to talk about Bruins general manager Don Sweeney, because I am wondering if he put the Bruins in cap jail so he could win GM of the year for how he has handled being in cap jail. Because not only has he signed a bunch of old players to 1 year, $1 million deals that look great, pretty much, most of them, I would say. JVR, great. Lucic, before he got hurt, really good in his role. Kevin Shattenkirk, maybe jury's still out, we'll see. But it's not just we have no money to spend, so we'll sign guys to 1 year, $1 million deals. It's we'll rely on young players, and for a team that historically, always seemingly every year by The Athletic, ranked dead last in farm system, Matty Poitras, who you mentioned, 1 point off the rookie lead in points. He's got 7 this year. John Beecher and Mason Lohrei last night scored their first NHL goals to lead the Bruins past a very good Stars team, and a Stars team that is playing well. And Beecher's goal, if you don't know who Johnny Beecher is, good college player who the Bruins drafted in the first round because he's American and tall, and nobody really thought he was going to be much of an NHL prospect. They wondered if he would get an extended run even in the NHL, and he's been a good bottom 6 forward for them. He scores his first last night, picks a corner in doing so. Like it was a nasty goal. A fucking sick goal. It wasn't
both of them were good.
Tall American who's not very good at hockey goal that goes in off his ass. Like he could actually shoot. And I think, as somebody who, side note, Don Sweeney hates like poison. I think
Don Sweeney really does.
Not a lot of people, I think, care about me enough to think any sort of way about me. Don Sweeney doesn't like me. When I covered the Bruins, I was, let's say, realistic about the job he was doing at points. I like Don Sweeney, but I think for all the flack he's gotten over the years, again, maybe some of it a little bit every now and then was from me asking him why he wasn't fired at the Bruce Cassidy firing press conference.
From all the things that we've done to get content this year, I think my favorite is going to Bruins practice and seeing Cam Neely and Don Sweeney, and you running into Cam Neely and be like, DJ, good to see you. Very very
behind
friendly.
The curtain, Cam Neely is super supportive of
this show,
and just like very happy and nice.
And then immediately after, you seeing Don Sweeney and him be like, yeah, hi, DJ.
Hello, DJ. Yeah. I want to have Don Sweeney on at some point to be like, I fucking like you, man.
To answer your question, though, I don't even know if you asked a question, but like, does Don Sweeney, are we shortchanging Don Sweeney on his credit? I don't think so, at least not yet. Number one, like John Beecher, even if he turns into like a great bottom 6 player, great, nice. You hit on that pick. It's still a first-round pick whose ceiling was bottom 6 player, and I don't love those. And I know that you kind of like if you get an NHL player out of your first-round pick, you kind of hit, yeah. But like he had a tendency of doing that, where it was just like we just wanted him to take a shot, and he's gotten a little bit better about taking shots. But my big thing is, yes, he's seemingly hit on some recent guys, and Poitras high on the list, but you kind of like found some magic beans with Matthew Poitras, right? Because it just came out of nowhere. He was forced into a position where they needed him, and he has come up big, which credit to Sweeney, credit to Poitras for sure. But the problem is that they've lacked those guys over the past several years. And like, you should have a constant stream of those guys coming up where you're kind of lucking into or like getting a surprise positive impact from guys in the system, and that helps put you over the top, and that helps you with your roster flexibility. And they're just finding that now, and I think that they're all coming up at around the same time. So my question is,
now
who's behind
sucks.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You've made fun of the system for a while. The system has been towards the bottom of the league for a while. Now we've seen some guys who have surprised us. Who's behind them? Who's next in line? Because I couldn't tell you anybody who's next in line.
That is such a good point about you're supposed to get some of those random hits anyway. Like that's kind of baked into the overall process of using draft picks, of hopefully you hit on your first round picks. Your second, depending on where you're picking in the first, your first and second round picks kind of have a similar chance of hitting. You want to get those to be players, but every few years, your fifth round pick will be really good, or the goalie that you took at the end of the draft will end up being a player, something like that. Those are the sort of kind of extras that happen anyway. Those are happening to the Bruins right now. You are right, kind of all at once. And you do include a first round pick in there because it was a first round pick who was considered a reach. And we haven't spoken much about Mason Lohrei. When he was drafted, it was the Tim Heidecker, like they took him in the second round, and a lot of places were like, we don't know much about this guy, actually. And people are like, God, they're going off the board again. And he rocks. He's got size. He's fluid. I think that he's my favorite of the young Bruins players.
I think that he probably has the highest ceiling. And maybe like next to Patra, I think they're probably like a 1A, 1B. But Lohrei, I think his ceiling looks pretty high. The big question right now is, does he stick? Because with Grzelcyk and Forbort, like there is somewhat of a log jam on the back end when everybody's healthy, and the question has become already 2 games into Lohrai's career is, does he stick around, and if so, who's on the outs? And I don't want to get too deep into the Bruins weeds here, so I'll just ask you straight up, like, do you think that he sticks around based off of what you've seen from 2 games?
Well, part of it is what he's shown, but also you have to consider what the coaching staff has shown. I believe he got benched for a little bit in that game last night.
After the Stars goal, he was caught a little flat-footed.
Yeah.
I mean, his big drawback has been, from what I've paid attention to over the past year or whatever, not unbelievable defensively. He's got some room to grow there, but his offensive from what I've seen, his offensive skill set is awesome, and the confidence with which he's playing in his first 2 games has really kind of struck me, because he's not afraid to activate. He's not afraid to jump into the play. He's not afraid to even get down low in the offensive zone. And that confidence for a young defenseman is striking to me, because I'm not an NHL player. I never have been, never will be. Surprised. But if I were to jump into my NHL career as a defenseman, I'd be terrified to make a mistake. And so I think I would play a little bit more conservatively, even if I was an offensive defenseman. So the boldness with which he's played in his first couple games has been impressive to me.
I think Grzelcyk has always struck me as the hockey trade guy on this roster once he's healthy, but his dad works for the team, and like there's just such a family element there. Let
me point you to one Ryan Donato.
I was just about to say, but this team traded Ryan Donato, but they did it to, you know who they traded him for?
Charlie Coyle.
So they did it to kind of do the same sort of shit, to do like Bruins American local guy.
You're only allowed to trade a Boston guy if you're getting a Boston guy in return.
Right. I mean, and that's just it's another story for another time.
I mean, I also think that Derek Forbort, his PK impact is pretty immeasurable.
I think that I'm not the biggest Derek Forbort fan. He's a fine player. I think that he's a guy that at some point they're going to need for stretches to be like, yo, can you just get out there, kill penalties, get in front of some shots? So I think the Lohrei ends up sticking somehow, whether it's through injury or them making a move. I just don't know who's going to be the odd man out. Let's get to our 3 stars. And for my 3 stars, I'd like to give a shout out to Ryan O'Reilly. The Predators are playing the Flames tonight. And back in 2013, I don't know if you remember this, O'Reilly was in some sort of RFA contract dispute with the Colorado Avalanche, and the Flames signed Ryan O'Reilly to a big offer sheet. Do you remember this?
I don't.
They signed him to an offer sheet that the Avalanche matched. The Flames didn't know that because they were coming back from the lockout, there was some machinations of this all where in order for them to add him to their roster, they were going to have to put him through waivers. So if the Avalanche had not matched that, the Flames were about to give up, what was it, a first-round pick, 3 first-round, but whatever the thing was, because this was a big contract.
Right.
They were about to just lose a bunch of first-round picks or draft picks for nothing, because the first team in the waiver process would have just been like,
yep.
Yeah. Sick.
That'd be incredible.
So that was just a fun story. I remember we gave Ryan O'Reilly was 2 of my stars yesterday, so I wanted to think of a way to work him in today. And yeah, there's that Flames little story. Do you have any stars?
Yeah, my star, I'm doing a preemptive star. My star is the Philadelphia Flyers, who I need to absolutely win tonight against the San Jose Sharks to set up my Super Bowl later this week on Thursday with Sharks Oilers.
Are you going to bet the Flyers tonight to make it a little more interesting?
No, I don't think so. I got to look at the chart.
Your bet tonight is Connor McDavid to win Hart.
Yes, no, my big bet tonight is on the Red Wings to beat the New York Rangers.
All right, that's enough chaos for one day. We will be back tomorrow to recap everything that happens in the NHL tonight. Hopefully, for Pete's sake, a Flyers win. For Pete's sake, I didn't do that on purpose.
Yes. Look at that.
All right, what chaos? Bye-bye. Talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.